Hello, welcome or welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz. I will be guiding you on this journey. And this journey is going to start with a yap sesh. I'm going to make an intro, basically, that I'll put at the beginning of all of the readings. Honestly, because I just cannot repeat myself 12 or 24 times. My throat and body refuse. So anyway, yeah. So I'm gonna put the timestamp in the description. So if you're just kind of like you can fast forward to when the reading actually starts. And it's actually kind of funny. Like I keep stutter. It's actually like I have a lot of energy in my body, and it's like it's all trying to come out at one time, and it's like making me stutter. I've had to redo this video. This is the fourth time so far, because it's like my mind goes faster than my mouth, and then I'm like confused. I'm like, wait, what am I saying versus like what am I thinking? Like, they're just like not lining up, which is interesting. Like there is actually a new moon in Sagittarius tomorrow, which is actually right on top of my Neptune. So maybe that's why. And it's a sixth house. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm like, I'll find a way to blame astrology for anything. So I'm hoping now that I said that out loud and that I got that energy out of me, that I can just kind of like ground myself and get through this so that we can get on to the readings. So I don't know what I've already said already, but I will put the timestamp in the description so you can fast forward to when the reading actually starts. The first thing that I want to yap about, or that I want to share with you, is that I've decided, it's like I've been thinking about this for a couple weeks, but I haven't actually said it out loud. So it like keeps coming out weird, but whatever, like, well, it'll come out right at some point. But there's an offering that I want to extend to you. It's a 2-card spread, or a 2-card draw. The first card is the door, which is, the obstacle, the path, the, thing that you're coming up against, the opportunity, whatever, that type of thing. All the things that we think about when we think doors, right? It's either opening, closing, anywhere in between. It's something to also like step through and have curiosity around. And then the second card is going to be the key, which is the guidance or advice for how to move through it. And it will be written, and it'll be $3.33. Basically, how it will work is that you will Venmo me $3.33 and provide your email address in the description. And if you don't feel comfortable putting your email address in the description, I will provide my email address, and you can send me a screenshot of the payment. And then, of course, I'll have your email address to respond to. I'm trying to make it like as least complicated as possible. And I think that like if you make the thing private, then nobody else will see your information anyway. It'll be obviously just between me and you. So anyway, $3.33. It's a 2-card spread. Once I receive your, notification of your Venmo, then I'll shuffle the cards. I'll pull 2 cards for you, and I'll write down basically like what comes to me. And literally anything that does come to me. So there's not necessarily like a limit on how long or short it's going to be. I do intend to get those back to you within 24 to 48 hours, or shorter than that. I'm just kind of giving myself a little bit of a buffer there. And I'm going to be offering these for basically as long as it feels good, like for as long as the energy is there. So I hope that made sense. If you have any questions, of course, leave a comment, or you can reach out to me as well through email. Like I'll have my email in the description. Instagram works too. But yeah, so that's the most important part. I'm glad I actually got it out this time, though, and I'm trusting that it makes sense. The other thing for this reading, we're going to be doing a what is ending and what is beginning. And I was kind of like stewing or whatever, with the thought of doing 2026 readings. And I was just kind of like it just didn't feel quite right. Like, I don't want to do like a 12-month overview, because who remembers that? Like, who remembers that? I couldn't even tell you if what I heard or saw like in any of the year ahead readings that like I listened to or watched in for 2025, right? So I don't want to spend a lot of time or even like dedicate a lot of time to going month by month. So then I was like, well, I could just maybe do just a general spread, what's coming, what's going, like what's going to be the overall vibe. That didn't quite feel. Anyway, it finally came to me last night that I'm sure you've probably heard in multiple places that 2025 is a 9-year, which is completion, right? And with that means that 2026 is a 1-year, which is obviously a new beginning. So it's, about clearing out cycles, what cycle is truly coming to an end, and what are we now, I want to say blossoming into, which is interesting. Like blossom never like crossed my mind, but it's like, what are we now I almost kind of like, I keep getting this image of like a waterfall of, it's literally just cycling into the next thing. Like it doesn't necessarily even feel like a big stop and a big start. But it's almost just like that, the natural progression or even transition. Like, what are we transitioning into? And I also, whoops, mother of pearl. I looked up like what were the last 9s and 1 years, right? So the last 1 year would have been 2017. And let me just give you an example for myself, because I also think it's really cool to just reflect on where you are, where you were, and also even just to kind of have like dates ish, or in this case, years, like, to think back to 2017, for instance, which was a 1 year. And what was going on for you in 2017, but also what was going on for you in 2016, because that would have been a 9-year, right? And for me, in 2016, I got married. I'm pretty sure I got married during a Venus retrograde, which is not good. And and I want to say maybe a Pisces eclipse. I want to say, I can't remember for sure, but whatever, that was 2016. In 2017, I left that marriage. I put down my soul dog, the dog that like grew up with me, basically, kind of, I got her when I was, I think I was 19 when I got her. And when I put her down, I was 30 something. I'm like, what's dang it, I keep hitting the wrong button. That is so annoying. Let's see. I can't do math that fast. 34. In 2017. I was actually 33. I had to put her down in April. My birthday was in May. And actually, 5 days after my birthday is when I separated from my husband. And then a week after that is when I moved out. Didn't look back. I moved 3 times. Let me see. 1, 2, 3 times. Within 6 months. I moved into the place that I've been in since then. Like, so I've been here for the last, 8 years, 9, however long, however long that's been. And yeah, so that was my that was my 2016 and 17 actually too, which is interesting, is that going back even further, 2008 would have been the previous 1 year. And in 2008, I got my first like college degree. I got an associate's in graphic design. I got my first like real adult job, which was terrible, but I was independent, on my own with that. And then, so, that would have been a 1 year. I got that degree. I got that job. I can't remember if like anything else major happened that year. I don't think so. I might have moved like closer to that job. I just can't remember if it was that year or the following year. But also, okay, so 2008 would have been a 1 year. Then 2016 was a 9 year, which would have ended, that cycle. And in 2016, I got a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. So it's just kind of interesting how, within that period of time, I got like 2 degrees and also like really officially ended my college or, like continuing education or higher education career, basically, because I don't think I would go back I've thought about going back for like, like an ultrasound technician or like x-rays or, something like that. But I just don't think I can. So anyway, it's interesting, so yeah, I mean, this is also an invitation for you to just kind of reflect and, where are you now? Where have you been? Did anything major happen in those years? The 1 year prior to 2008 would have been 1999, which is kind of funny because there was like that whole Y2K, kind of thing that was like happening around that time. I mean, obviously that was, the year 2000, but it was like the freaking out, also Prince has a song, 1999, hello. The prior one would have been 1990, and then 1981, 1972, 1963. So basically, subtract 9 from there or add 9, whatever. But yeah, it's just kind of cool to look back and also even just to like kind of welcome in a fresh beginning and to recognize too, like where you are, and maybe there are patterns or relationships, behaviors, thoughts, jobs, careers, whatever, that you have released or healed, from, and that's creating the energy or allowing the energy for you to move forward, and like I said, like transition into something new. And also, like, I don't know if it is just me or if it's like a collective thing of feeling ready for it. Like, I think I mentioned maybe the curiosity thing, which I think curiosity also breeds excitement. Just like being open, trusting ourselves, really just staying connected to our own truth. So, I haven't quite like necessarily figured out what the spread is going to look like. I think what we're going to do is pull some cards for like what is completed. Maybe I should write this down. So one pile, what's completed or ending. It's not even like leaving. I think completed is a good word. And then pile 2 is what's I keep wanting to like write starting, like what's starting. But again, it doesn't feel like a stop start. And I just cannot think of the word that, like, I mean, transition is like coming through, but it's like, what is another word? And like, do we look up the thesaurus? What's unfolding? Taking shape. Coming into focus, maybe. Activating. Okay. I mean, we'll see what words end up finding their way in, like, once I'm shuffling the cards. But like, what are we, like, I keep also wanting to say like falling into, because like I was saying, I keep seeing this like waterfall. Which also like feels very Fool card. Taking that leap, going with the flow, trusting. Also even just the water thing with intuition, and even like trusting like those big emotions. And I'm thinking even too, like the actual waterfall part, right, where it's the water actually falling. That to me almost kind of feels like the transition part, right? Because it's kind of like there's a direction that the water is heading into, right? But there's not necessarily control of it either. There's a direction and trust. Like, so honestly, I even fucking love that. Wow. I think these readings are actually going to be beautiful, and I'm really excited to get into it. And also, I just want to say, how cute is this effing tarot bag, dude? I'm going to put the Etsy shop of the girl who creates these in the description as well. She has 3 different sizes of these. I only have this size, but I have 3 or 4 of these all in different fabrics, but this one holds like this size of a tarot deck, but it'll hold a larger one. Like it's almost like oracle deck size. But look at the, you can choose 2 different fabrics. I'll keep a deck in there, and then I'll keep a selenite wand in there also, which is, it's like perfect. There's a clip, oh, I'm obsessed with these. And they're not just necessarily for tarot decks, but also, like it holds its shape. Like, bro, look at this. So cute. So anyway, we're using the Light Seer Tarot because honestly, like this is probably like my all-time favorite deck. And I'm also so glad that it said yes to me to do these readings, because before every reading I do, for YouTube readings, I'll ask, do you want to do all of the readings? Because you got to do them all. But I shuffle the deck and either a yes card comes out or a no card. And I honor that, because we're all about consent over here. So anyway, I'm so glad that the Light Seers Tarot agreed to do these readings for us, because again, like I think that they're going to be beautiful. And I think that's all that I want to say for now. So let's jump into the reading. Great. So this is a reading for Aries, wherever Aries is in your chart. And like I said in the intro, if you watched it, if you didn't, I don't blame you. But actually, the intro was really fucking beautiful. So if you haven't watched it. Anyway. All that I really know is that I want to have like 2 sections. Like I want to have, one section that is complete, or what is, let me see. How did we say this? What energy, theme, thing, whatever is, or has been, is, completed in 2025. And then the second energy is going to be what's unfolding in 2026. And again, because I part of me wants to like go into a spiel about that. But all of that is explained actually in the intro. So I trust that you watched it and we're all on the same page. So what is being completed in 2025? What has been completed in 2025? Because obviously, we're at the end. Like, what was completed in 2025 for Aries? And I just want like maybe a couple cards. Like I don't, not that many. I don't know, like 3. 3 is my favorite number. It's always 3. We don't take the cards that flip in the deck. We only take the cards that come out of the deck because we want clarity and we want commitment. So if there's a message, the cards know that they need to come out, because I've had individual conversations with every single one of these decks. Especially this one. This one is like an OG deck. It knows. For Aries. What's been completed? The King of Cups. Anything else? Whoa. Anything else for completion for Aries? What about this King of Cups? And what is unfolding in 2026 for Aries? Whoop. What is unfolding for Aries? The Two of Wands, beautiful. What about it? Interesting. Okay. We'll like maybe take a look at the bottom of the deck, but I kind of want to. Yeah, okay. I was gonna like start moving the like whole camera thing around, but I think this is probably okay for now. I feel like once I start doing that, then I'm gonna fucking be fiddling with it longer than I want to, and I don't think we need to do that now. So it's so funny because actually, like the first thing that I heard when the King of Cups came out, especially for Aries, is that there has been a mastery of your emotions, like truly a glow up or even a grow up with your emotional intelligence, even how you communicate your emotions, how they come up for you. It's interesting too that like Temperance is out here and there's the moon and the sun on this card. So you could have, I mean, obviously if you're an Aries sun, then, that's a fire sign. The sun is all like obviously a ball of fire, right? And maybe you have water placements. Maybe you have a water moon. Maybe you have a water sun and a fire moon, right? Like maybe you have an Aries moon. Maybe your rising sign is water, but it's just like the play between those two things, because I feel like with an Aries moon, right, it's almost like explosive and just explosive in the sense that like there's a buildup and then a boiling over and then like a comeback down. And maybe it's like felt for a long time that it was like out of your control, or you didn't recognize it in time to stop the boiling over from happening. And, maybe you developed stories and feelings and shame or whatever, like around that process, which then almost just kind of oppresses your emotions or that energy even more, right? Because then it becomes something that you worry about, or that you try to control the expression of, instead of understanding what it is and understanding what that process looks like for you and how to not control it, because we don't need to necessarily control anything, but how to work with it, how to manage it. How does it come through for you? Like what creates the pressure that eventually boils over, right? Like is it not having an understanding of what your emotions are, like what you're feeling, what's happening in those moments, or even too like not allowing yourself to feel those emotions, right? Because it's like they say that anger is a response of a repressed emotion, and or to like a misunderstanding of an emotion. For me personally, like I have a really hard time expressing being scared, like fear, I guess, and it comes out as agitation or irritation or rah, when ultimately the feeling that is behind that is I'm scared for whatever reason. And also like scared to me is like uncertainty, confusion, like it's something that I don't understand, and that's maybe where like the scared quote unquote feeling comes from. But right, like for a very long time I was completely unaware that the anger that I was expressing, or the irritation, agitation, I had no clue that it was actually this other emotion that the pressure built up and I had to just get it out. Right? Like think of even anger, from inside out, and how, you just kind of keep poking him, poke, right? And then he just like explodes, and then he's fine. So anyway, so it's interesting, and I love that the King of Cups came out first for, and maybe actually we're going to change this to what was mastered. Hell yeah. I knew it was going to get more clear as soon as we started reading, or as soon as we started doing the readings. And also, I think that this is like a very good reminder that truly, once you start trying things, clarity comes, right? Like have a direction, which we might even be talking about over here, but have a direction, start heading in that direction, and the clarity that you feel might be missing will show up just like that. So yeah, like I said over here, right? Like I loved that the King of Cups came out. I also love that Temperance is paired with it, because that is actually a fire sign. It's Sagittarius. We have the Sagittarius new moon tomorrow. It's the last new moon of the year as well, and it's a fire sign. I believe the King of Cups might be Pisces, which is kind of interesting because those square each other, right? And Neptune is at 29 degrees Pisces right now. So it's almost pretty exactly squaring this new moon. So I think to like really allowing yourself to reflect on the last 9 years and how you have emotionally matured, how you have grown up emotionally too. I always say, well, I don't know. I whatever. I have said, and I truly believe that the only way to truly grow up is to heal your inner child, because all of us are walking around with conditioning, trauma, stories, beliefs that were instilled, indoctrinated, beat into, whatever, into us like when we were kids. Expectations, even, how you communicate your emotions, how you suppress or repress or oppress your emotions, how you perceive your emotions to be received by others, how you experience them, how you understand them, all those things, right? Like we have a very adolescent understanding of those things, and we're just out in the world in these adult bodies with adult responsibilities. But when things happen, we react to them literally as children. And we have no clue. But that's because like our emotional growth and even our mental, like growth and expansion and evolution gets stunted by life, by, the failures of the adults around us, experiences that happen, all of the things, the successes, the losses, all of the things. And so truly healing, becoming aware of what your inner child story or belief or reaction is, helps you. And I have no doubt that you have been putting energy into understanding yourself on that level, even if it wasn't necessarily in the terms of my inner child and what's coming through for me that way. Like not necessarily like, it's not like you had to be using those specific, words or language, but just recognizing, hey, the way that I feel my feelings or don't feel my feelings, or the interactions that I have which cause me to boil over, that doesn't really feel like an authentic expression of myself. And so like, why does that happen? Right? Like, why am I doing that? um and then allowing yourself to work through that and catching that pattern, and as much as you can, like stopping yourself in that pattern, being like, hold on, I'm kind of falling into the old way, or the homeostasis, or what's the other one, cognitive dissonance. Like I'm falling into my program, because that's where I've operated from, my whole life. But like I'm transitioning, or I'm shifting out of that because it doesn't feel good. It's not in alignment with me anymore, like who I am now. It's not a truth that I believe in. So it's, it's like interrupting that program and allowing yourself to choose different. And again, like with the temperance card out here, like this is something that it has been taking time to almost like get the formula right, because temperance is about alchemy, blending together energies, even philosophies too, because, when we think Sagittarius, we think higher education, almost just like having an interest in multiple modalities, but like only hanging on to the things that are resonant for you. Like picking this thing over here, and then picking this thing over here, and picking this thing over here, and then mashing it up into what feels true and authentic to you. That's very like temperance, right? Like it's even here, with the sun and the moon here. The sun is your personality, your like outward expression, how people see you, how you show up in the world, like how you express yourself. The moon is, again, your emotional body, your subconscious. Also too, like even like the things that the truths that maybe you don't necessarily share with anybody or everybody, right? Because truly, like nobody knows you better than you know yourself. No matter how much you share, you're around somebody. I mean, of course, like there's always people that come around that you're just like, wow, you just get me. Right? But it's because of how they understand themselves. And there's a intersection there where, or, a parallel thing where you guys have the same-ish like operating or like program, right? That's also kind of like trauma bonds, like trauma recognizes trauma, right? But anyway, yeah. I feel, again, just to kind of wrap that up a little bit, what you have mastered is your emotional maturity. I think people have probably told you that. I think people are probably sharing with you like, wow, I have noticed that you maybe don't react to situations or people in the same way that you did before. Maybe your pot doesn't go above a royal, what is it called? A rolling boil. Cause like, I don't think it's not that you just need to be simmering, or that you don't need to be, just using that analogy, that you don't need to have like the fight. Cause clearly, You're an Aries, you have fire, right? Which is perfect. But if it is a fire that is outside of your control, because if we think about fire that gets out of control, it just causes destruction. Right? I mean, it literally nothing in its path is safe, right? So I think that you recognized that you are very much in control of that, or that you even fucking want to be more in control and just more aware. And maybe you're even communicating, hey, this interaction is kind of, it's causing my meter to go up. I feel like I'm close to a point of just like boiling over. I'm close to a point of losing it. So I am going to step away from the situation, or you need to step away from the situation. Like whatever it is, like I need to separate myself because I recognize that this is a pattern. This is a program. I'm going to lose my shit. And it's like, it's not your responsibility for other people to honor that, right? Because I mean, you're setting a boundary, and boundaries are for you. They're not for other people. And if people keep pushing, then they're going to get burned, you know? That's also a lesson for them. Like, I'm telling you that I'm reaching a limit here. This interaction is activating me in a certain way. I'm not feeling heard. I'm not feeling understood. I'm whatever it is. I'm telling you that I need to take a break. And if you keep pursuing, I am going to lose my shit. And I'm not responsible. Like, I'm literally not responsible for that because you made a choice, right? I also, like, even with this angel behind, I mean, there's usually an angel depicted on the temperance card anyway, but it also like almost even feels like divinely guided or like divinely timed. Like, I mean, maybe you have literally felt like you have been being helped with this by, you know, guardian angels, by even, you know, maybe a loved one that has crossed over, you know, guides in general, God, source, you know, your higher self. Even, you know, because if you don't believe in any of those things, then your own intuition, because we all have that. But it's like an inner knowing that this process was very much important to like your own evolution, your own like literal growth. So yeah. And then over here for like what's unfolding, we have the Two of Wands, we have the Eight of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles on their side. Which is honestly it's so interesting how these cards came out, for one. And like at first I was like, oh, are they just kind of things that are like working their way into reverse or just kind of teeter-tottering a little bit? For me, when the top of the card comes out on the right side, the card is working its way into the reverse. If the top of the card comes out on the left side, it's working its way upright, kind of just like clockwise. I don't know. That's my own made up shit. That's how I read them. But I actually feel like the Eight of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles are branches of or extensions of the Two of Wands. And I also love that because of the way that these two cards came out, the Two of Wands is looking at both of them. Versus like if they came out upright, you know, the Two of Cups would be looking at the Eight of Cups. And, you know, and then the Nine of Pentacles would be like behind the Eight of Cups, or like the progression of, or the next, you know, kind of step. So with them coming out sideways, again, like it feels like a branch, or these are like branches or like an extension of this Two of Pentacles, or Two of Wands. And that it's like they have equal importance, or like equal shared relevance, maybe. I mean, they look like equal signs, since they're sideways. Yeah, that might be a reach, but whatever. I think the Two of Wands is about reaching. And this card is literally reaching for a pentacle. So, you know what? We hit the nail on the head there. But what I love about this is that there's this future focus. There's this, it's not looking backwards. It's recognizing that you've mastered something over here, and maybe what that has also done is opened more possibility for you. Because the Two of Wands is a broadening your horizons card. I think that might also be the Three of Wands, but it's planning for the future. What is possible? There's this globe here, there's a car. It's, making plans. How do you want to execute it? It's also even looking to the future. Whereas like over here, it's just kind of been really internal, a lot of looking back, a lot of, reflection, a lot of what makes me who I am. Like, how did I become this emotional being, right? Like, what are my beliefs? What are my thresholds, blah, 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 whatever, right? And the Two of Wands now is like, that's handled, that's mastered. And now that I have an understanding of that, I know how to work with that energy. Now it's time to look forward. What is the life that I want to create? Maybe you are like planning some travel, or to move, or it could be a job change as well, with the Nine of Pentacles out here. The Eight of Cups is making that decision to walk away from something. It's recognizing the energy of a thing has fulfilled its purpose. Like, I truly believe that everything has a purpose and an energy to it. Clothes, cars, jobs, friends, relationships, whatever. It's like that whole reason, season, or lifetime kind of thing. But I also like even cleaning your house, right? Like, I don't know about you, but I always find for myself that like when I start really cleaning, especially things that like I haven't touched in a while, it's almost like things start to multiply. It's like the weirdest shit. It's like, like in Harry Potter. I'm always going to bring up Harry Potter at some point. I can't remember which movie it was though, but when they were in Lestrange, her vault or whatever, and they were looking for that Horcrux, and like if you touched something, it started to multiply. It's almost like that, but it's because energy like gets stuck in our stuff, and then we just store it because we don't want to deal with it at the time, or I don't know. I mean, like maybe I'll use it or whatever, at some point, and then it just gets stuck in there. So then when we start cleaning and we start pulling stuff out, right? Then it's like the energy of those things just kind of start to multiply, and it's like, what about this? What about this? What about this? And you're like, shit, I didn't realize I kind of had all this stuff, So anyway, like relating that to the Eight of Cups, it's, because there's one cup that still has like a little bit of fire in it. The other 7 are pretty much underwater now, right? But that's the thing. It's like you have exhausted the energy of those cups, and even to recognizing that in this last cup, which, and I love that it's fire, because it's a water card and there's fire in the cup, and over here we have a water card, the highest expression of the water cards, and Sagittarius, like the fire sign, right? Like they say, Sagittarius is the fieriest fire sign. So, being able to recognize that you don't need to, like, you already know that whatever is in this cup is not, like, it doesn't need closure. It doesn't need completion. It doesn't need your attention. You just need to leave it. Like, that's it. Whatever that is, whatever that would represent for you. And not only is he, she, they, walking away from what is complete, what has been mastered, what is no longer serving her or them. They're walking towards the Nine of Cups, even though I know we don't have it out here yet, but that's what's on the horizon here. That's what the Two of Wands is even looking at, the horizon, right? And the Nine of Cups is wish fulfillment, your desires being met, creating your dream life, integrating the way that you want to feel into your day-to-day life. And the Nine of Pentacles here is independence, liberation came through very strongly. Pentacles is about our money. Wands is about the actions that we take. I kind of love that, like, the only card that we don't have out here is air. This is all about emotions, action, like intuition, action, practicality, grounding, actualizing things into like reality. Not a lot of like thought about it, which is great. Pentacles are about our money. How do we get it? How do we save it? How do we spend it? It's our physical time and our energy, which we usually use in exchange for money, your physical body and your health. So there's definitely like this knowing that there's something, and maybe it is just this, the mastering over here, but through that mastering, it's like recognizing that there is something in your life that you have worked through, that you have literally tried everything. It's like there's no stone unturned type of thing. I was like waiting for the right like description to come to my mind, but it is like, no stone has gone unturned, except for the one that's like clearly not it, because it's like either going to be the same thing, or it's just trusting yourself maybe too about the direction that you want to head in, what you actually want out of your life, or what you want out of independence, and what does liberation mean to you, and work. We spend a lot of time, the majority, well, a third, of our time at work. I love too that there's like these different options here. There's already one pentacle in the basket here, and she's like kind of choosing one at a time, and also recognize how she hasn't even picked the largest pentacle. even with that bird on there, that could be too divinely guided. Like just feeling, again, whether that's your intuition, that's your guides, that's your guardian angels, that's a loved one, God, source, divine, like whatever that could be for you. But it's like you're at this point where you're not just choosing the largest and shiniest option because you're assuming or you think that's going to be the thing that brings you like the most opportunity or the most money or the most return, skill building, opportunities for growth, whatever, right? It's literally choosing the thing that is in alignment with you. And also even trusting that that thing is going to support you in exactly the way that you want to be supported, financially, physically, emotionally. And even, like all these options being available too. Recognizing that if one thing doesn't work out, there's another thing. Try another thing, And also, I said at some point, I can't remember now exactly how I said it. I just was reminded of it when I said the word try. Truly, right? Like clarity comes from trying, from doing. You have an idea, something shiny does, like attract your attention. You try it and it's either a yes or no, or maybe, right? Or it's, well, this part of it is working, this part isn't. So I'm going to tweak the part that isn't working, right? Like, and especially here with the wands, like the wands cards are trying, it's taking action. This specific wands card is planning for that action. It's the Eight of Cups. That's the one that is in action though. They are actively walking away. So this is definitely, it's an emotional decision, and it's an emotionally mature, educated, also grounded with the pentacles here. This isn't impulsive. This is like well thought out, well planned. There's also no anxiety out here. This is, man, I knew that these readings were going to be fucking gorgeous. I knew it. And I'm glad that was proven. So I am going to leave it there. I hope that this reading resonated with you. And I will talk to you, if not sooner, than in 2026. Bye.